Welcome to the Special Needs Moms Show. My name's Trey Kearney, and this is my co host.
And I'm Pat Ward. How are you?
And we are here to represent special needs moms and not about what the children need, but the special needs of a special needs mom. There are
Yeah,
so many resources for the children, but sometimes we feel forgotten, right, Pat?
absolutely. Absolutely.
I got here by way of having a son who is on the spectrum. He is 16 years old. He is nonverbal. He is my son, my sunshine, and he was potty trained at 9 years old, and I thought that he would never be potty trained. But thank God to Mrs. F, his teacher, who really just told me don't bring no more Pampers in his class, and I didn't. He can have extremely aggressive behaviors. He got diagnosed at a little after 2 years old. We started to notice that he wasn't responding to his name. He was standing on his head a lot. He did a lot of headstands in his playpen, like always upside down. And he was the best baby. And this should be a red flag for you. Jermaine was on a schedule. If he was not on a schedule, he would not have cried. He would not have eaten. He would not have wanted his diaper changed. And I didn't realize that because he was on the schedule that there was something wrong. But pay attention to that because we're always doing, doing, doing. We need to give our children an opportunity to express what
Mm.
they need. And it's just been a journey. And I've just been on this journey. We had early childhood intervention come in. I remember this woman. She was about 87 years old, white woman. Her name was Miss Iris. And she was very hard on us. Jermaine was doing a lot of stuff because I have video of him doing appropriate things. And then somewhere along the line, he lost it. He digressed. And then we just been on this journey for 16 years now. So, Miss Pat Ward, how did you get here?
Well, I was 26 weeks pregnant with my son and unexpectedly went into labor. So I had Brandon 26 weeks. He weighed 1 pound, 15 ounces. He was on a ventilator, had a brain bleed. I was told he had a stroke in utero, which is why I went into labor. Sometime, say like 2, 3 weeks after birth, they had to give him a shunt, which is a tube that drains the cerebral fluid from his brain. Excuse me, from his spine. At the time, they placed it in his stomach cavity because he was building up spinal fluid on his brain because his ventricles were clogged due to the grade 4 brain bleed. So we stayed. He was in the NICU unit at Jersey City Medical having multiple seizures. He went from one form of breathing apparatus to another. I didn't hold my baby until he was 30 days old. And yes, I couldn't take my baby home. I couldn't do it. It was a lot. It was a very stressful situation, tackling on the unknown. Then eventually I got him home and we had a few other surgeries. He actually had his shunt failed and he had to be reshunted. He had a bowel obstruction. I'm trying to think, strabismus because of his eyes. I can go on. I mean, in 2010 alone, within 3 months, his shunt had to be revised 3 times due to shunt failure. He had a spinal fusion from his neck to his waist due to scoliosis. My baby, so he walks with a physical assistant. So we hold his hand. We do not allow him to walk on his own because he's off balance. He uses a walker at times when necessary, and we have a wheelchair for long distance. It got to the point that Brandon's scoliosis was so bad that he couldn't even walk 2 blocks. He was having breathing issues. A lot of people didn't notice, and I wasn't saying anything to a lot of people when we were going through. But we finally agreed to have the scoliosis repaired. The agreement actually happened because he had a shunt revision, and while the doctor was literally showing me like all she did from the brain into the stomach with the tubing, I was standing there looking at the X-ray, and I could see my baby's spine and how bad it was. Now, mind you, for about 3 years, the orthopedist and his physiatrist was like, "You really need to handle this," and I was trying everything. I was like, that surgery is too invasive for me. I just can't do it. Like, let's figure something out. And it just so happened that particular time, something said to me while she was talking to me, all I heard was wah, 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 because I was so busy staring at that spine. And something said, it's time. You need to have this done. So after that particular shunt surgery, I went to see the orthopedist. We scheduled that surgery, the spinal surgery. That was a 10-hour procedure, but he came through. My baby is doing very well. We actually joke around from time to time and call him the bionic man because he has this the rods and screws in his back. After that, he did really well for several years. 2021, Christmas of 2021, actually, I had to rush him to the hospital. He had a bowel obstruction. Bowel obstruction, we ended up staying at Jersey City Medical Center for a total of 30 days in critical care unit. Within that time alone, in them 30 days, Brandon had 4 surgeries, 2 open stomach procedures. He ended up with an ileostomy, a shunt revision. He came home, and I want to say about 4 or 5 months later, discussion with his gastroenterologist and surgeon. Because of his age and how young he is, we said, oh, let's try to reverse the ileostomy. Unfortunately, that was not possible. And they wanted to do an apparatus called a J tube, which one tube would vent and the other tube would be for feedings. But Brandon didn't require the feedings. So the agreement was, let's vent him with a colostomy, a permanent colostomy then. So at this time now, he has a permanent colostomy. He's doing well. We do go through multiple different gastro issues. And unfortunately, because Brandon does communicate, but it is limited, and he never tells us when anything is wrong. We always end up in the hospital when he's having any gastro issues because he just can't clearly identify and tell us what's actually going on. So it's a struggle in that area with him where his communication is limited, but there are things that he can tell us. But when it comes to emergency situations, for instance, when we had to rush him to the hospital in 2021, his stomach was so big, he looked like he was 9 months pregnant for his size. Mind you, his bowel had perforated. And I can't imagine, they could not imagine the pain he must have been in. But he never cried and he never said a word about what he was going through. He just was not well. And we could tell he wasn't well. And because he was vomiting, we had to rush him to the hospital. But he is, like you said, he is my light. I love my baby. He gives us strength. We draw strength from Brandon because we always say, like, if he can go through it, we can handle it. Like we, you know, like we try to keep everything in a positive perspective. So like, honestly, for instance, I'm afraid to go to the dentist. But then I sit there and I say, if my baby can go through all of that, I can go sit in that chair and get my teeth clean. I'm afraid to do all of this. You know, like we just, I mean, it's life. It is what it is. But we love him dearly and we will do anything for him. And that's our baby. That's my baby right there.
I know that's right. The crazy thing about what you just said is I think I've heard Jermaine cry twice, 2 or 3 times. I can't even remember, you know, and these are the things that don't show up until somebody talks about them, but that's not normal for a child to be in pain and not cry. And I'm just thinking, I don't even know if I ever heard him cry other than when he was a baby. And I'm thinking about when he was a baby, he really didn't cry. Only time he cried when he was in a car seat. When he was small, like most kids get soothed in the car. Jermaine hated the car. He would cry the whole ride. Somebody would have to take him out of the car seat and hold him. And that was strange to everybody. But I mean, we didn't equate it to autism back then, but now it's like, like I've never seen a baby in a car cry like anytime they got in the car. And just you saying that, him being in pain, like I don't Like I've seen scars on Jermaine, like if he bumped his leg or he has like a scar on his leg right now. If I didn't see it showering him, I would never know it was there. Like any other kid would come and be like, I scraped my it's like almost a little deep gash too. And I'm like, what did you hit your leg on? And then one day, not too long ago, his finger was bleeding. And I don't know what he hit his finger on or what he did, but it was bleeding. I'm like, what? So it's just it's a lot. And
Yes.
the thing that I love about us is we had this conversation too about would you rather deal with the physical side of it or the behaviors? Because you came in my life at the perfect time. You always ask me, "Are you okay?" Because Jermaine has
Absolutely.
behaviors, and
And
he has.
like, because what it is, we live it. So there's days, and I was telling you, like in my house, everything we do, we have to schedule it because there's certain places now with Brandon having the ostomy, especially, I don't take
Can
him
you tell
everywhere.
people what that is? Because some people don't know what that is.
So instead of moving his bowels the way in which we normally do from our anus, he actually has a stoma where his intestine is out of his body. He has a hole in his side, his left side, from his sigmoid colon, and that's how he releases his bowels in a bag. So I'm uncomfortable with bringing him certain places because number one, the odor could be strong sometimes. So if I take him to use some people's bathrooms, it could be an uncomfortable situation. And at the other time, because the intestine is actually out, I mean, some people don't have the cleanliness of a bathroom, and I
Ho-
worry about what's
Hold
going
on,
to happen. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like I could go into
hold on for one
McDonald's and
second.
everything.
Hold on for 1 second. You could keep talking. I'm gonna put the screen on you. I gotta go see what Jermaine needs. So
Okay,
for those of you who are watching, we have special needs children. So this is what you're gonna see. So keep talking about how that works for you when you have to take him somewhere and he uses the bathroom.
okay. So there are times when I'm just uncomfortable with taking him to the bathroom in certain people's homes or in certain locations. I mean, I've been in at one time we were coming back from Virginia and we had to make a stop at one of those rest stops and there was a fly in the bathroom. And of course, the first thing I'm panicking about is, oh my goodness, is this fly gonna like land on my baby's stoma, which is, like I said, the intestine that's hanging out of his body, like who's in the bathroom, who's gonna smell it. It's just not a very ideal situation for us all the time. And also, again, I don't want to go to someone's home and just bring a bad odor to their home. I just feel that that's kind of, I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone. So we're very cautious about where we bring him. Oftentimes we have to go out with our supplies and things like that, and there's been times where we've even slipped up and forgotten something. So I don't want to go through people's bathrooms digging for things and trying to find the appropriate supplies to make sure that I clean him correctly. So there's a lot that I think it's more uncomfortable for me than for the guests and hosts and people whose homes we're going to, but it's still not the most comfortable situation.
I'm going to share a little bit about from the behavior side. So a lot of times I get invited to different things, but I know if there's going to be a lot of people or a lot of noise, anything can trigger a child on the spectrum. And as parents, we don't know, we don't want to disrupt everybody's function. And like Pat said, it's not even the host sometimes, because sometimes this is a hurtful thing for us. Sometimes we don't get the invite because people are afraid, because people know that he has behaviors. Because I share openly, and on Super Bowl Sunday when I came in, he was upset because I went out. So now he's getting upset when I go out. So when I came home, he attacked me and he scratched my face. Like he
Mm.
got to my face and scratched my face. And I share these things, but I don't want people to be afraid of my child. But there are places that I don't take him because I know that there could be a behavior. If there's going to be a lot of kids, I wouldn't want anybody's child to get hurt, or I want anybody's child to be traumatized by seeing that. But for family and friends, we want the world to know, and this is why we're doing this. We want the world to know that we want you to teach your children about disabilities and autism and special needs and behaviors, and to know what to do if these things happen. So it's not easy for us by far, whether it is a physical disability or an invisible disability, because Jermaine looks very normal, and he is normal, but I say normal because he has autism.
Right.
But he looks very normal. If you saw him, you would not know unless he started to stim, which is flapping or jumping or making noises. You wouldn't know if you waved at him. You would think that he was a rude kid. So we want to just bring some awareness, and we just want to let people know exactly what it is that we want as special needs moms.
Right. And bringing that up too, like when you go to different events and stuff like that. For instance, Brandon is afraid of the latex, the rubber balloons. So a lot of times, like we'll go to people's events. Like recently, we went to one. Lenny's brother just had an event, and we had to leave within an hour and a half because they kept falling off the table, and a few of them were busting, and it just sends him into a frenzy. He starts moving around, ducking down. He'll stay like in a duck down position for the entire event. He's holding on to me, like clenching me tightly, and he's looking around, just watching the balloons and things like that. I know he's uncomfortable. We're not going to keep him in that type of situation, and we feel really bad because we're there an hour, and then we have to leave. But it's just something we have to do. And again, when I think about certain things that I do, it's not that I'm trying to disrespect the host. I'm actually being considerate of the host because I don't need my son disrupting what you have going on at your event. I want you to be able to enjoy your event and enjoy your guests. So I'm always, we're just always cautious of, what's going to happen, and should we bring Brandon to this particular, outing. The other thing is too, because Brandon also has physical limitations, there are certain places that people are like, oh, bring him. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, if I bring him, I don't want him to feel uncomfortable because he can't do something. Because
Right.
that's always in my head. I know how it feels to me. Like, I'm not going to go to an event that I can't enjoy.
Right.
So why am I going to have him somewhere where he's going to watch all the other kids doing certain things, but he can't do it?
Right. And I
Bouncing
don't,
houses and
yeah,
things like that. He can't do it. So, like, I'm not going to send him there so that he can just sit there and watch the children do it.
right. And my niece got married, and the wedding was in New Orleans, and my niece is like my daughter, and
Right.
I couldn't go. And she was kind of upset. She was like, well, I said, I can't bring him through the airport. Like, I don't know I don't know if he's going to get out the car. I don't know what's going to happen if he gets on the plane. She was like, well, you can give him something to sedate him. And I'm like, I can't sedate him the whole trip. So once I get to Jermaine is big on he won't get out of the car if he gets to a building. Like he knows places, like he knows a house is a house, a building might be a doctor. So he may not get out the car. So he may not get out the car if it's a hotel. I'm not sure. So if I'm in New Jersey and it's an event and he don't want to get out, I pick my battles. If he don't want to get out and I drove an hour, we had a nice little drive. We're not coming in. Jermaine don't want to get out the car. I don't. It's not that serious. People
Right.
like, you drove an hour, and I'm like, it's okay. Like it's okay, but for me to take him through an airport, for me to go through the TSA, for me to get him on the plane, for me to get him off the plane, for me to keep him calm on the plane, for me to get him to New Orleans, to get him in a cab, to get him out of a cab, to go to a hotel, to go from the hotel, to go up the elevator, in the room, out of the room, to come out for the wedding. I'm like, yo, first of all, because this is about special needs moms,
Right.
it's too much anxiety for me. I don't even know, just thinking about it sends me over the edge. I'm anxious thinking about going to the airport. Like, because I see people, they have on the news, people sat on the tarmac for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Can you imagine your baby's bag on a plane and they won't let you off? Or can you imagine Jermaine flipping out on a plane and they won't let us off? Like, we sitting on the tarmac because there's nowhere to pull the plane into. What? Like, I can't take that risk because somebody could get hurt. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? So my mind is thinking ahead for everybody else. So I was like, I can't come. Like, this is impossible what you're saying to me because you don't even understand. If we have to go from a certain gate on a shuttle, like there's so many steps to go through to
Absolutely.
get to something like that. So I have to miss out on things that I don't want to miss out on to have consideration for not only me and Jermaine, but for everybody involved because I
Amen.
can't drive my car from
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans. I can't say, okay, let me get in the car. Like, I'm just out there. And I'm just like, we can't come.
Yeah.
So there's things that people have to understand that
Yeah.
we need as special needs moms, and that is compassion and
Mm.
empathy and understanding to say, I understand, and invite us. Please. There's so many people that tell me that they don't get invites because of their child. Invite us. And people say, well, I didn't invite them because I, no, invite us because we know the limitation of what our child can take.
Yeah.
So if it's a cookout, invite us. We'll come for a few minutes outside. And if they decide they want to leave, we leave. If it's somewhere where it's too many people, we'll tell you. He wasn't having a good day. I'm sorry I missed the event, but we woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you didn't want us there. So we're strategic about what we do. So let's talk about what is your one fear when it comes to as an autism mom for you? And I'm
Like how deep you want to go into the fear, like
girl, no, because this
because
is real.
because I could go into my biggest fear, and I know that. So I serve God. I serve God, and I know that fear is not of Him. But
Right.
and I'm working on things. I'm growing. I am growing. My biggest fear is what is going to happen to my baby when I'm not here.
Mm,
Now I do have my daughter, and I do have my husband, and I love them, and I trust them dearly with my son. I trust them with his life. But I worry about that. I worry if they're going to be okay because having him it's not easy. Again, it's three of us, and we still. What you doing on Saturday? So Saturday, I want to go wherever I want to go. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because again, there's certain places that I go, and like I said, I'm not taking him because of the bad situation, or how about I just want a break? But in order to get my break, I got to figure out what they're doing so that can happen. You
that
know,
part.
so it's just like that. It's just it's a fear of mine. Like, are you guys gonna be okay? Like, because I know what it's like, but I'm willing to sacrifice everything I have to take care of Brandon. I'm willing to give up work. I'm willing to give up whatever I have to give up to maintain and be home with him. But what are you guys gonna be able to do? What if my daughter gets married and then she's with some guy that don't want to be bothered with my son? How is
Right.
that gonna pan out? I'm gonna age. Lenny's gonna age. So what we gonna do? Honestly, that's my biggest fear. Anything else, I feel like we've battled so much, and I said, as long as Brandon's willing to fight, we're going to fight with him. We're going to stand in there with him. When I saw him in that hospital a couple of years ago and he had those multiple surgeries, I could see a certain look on my baby's face. And I was like, okay, God, I'm not ready. And
Mm,
I mean, I had to ask Brandon, I was like, baby, if you still willing to fight, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to pray. And I had my prayer group. I was like, let's go, let's get this going. My ladies were, praying, and he came through.
mm.
But I will say, when he's tired, okay. But if I go first, I need to make sure my family is going to be okay and willing to maintain him. And that's my biggest fear.
I think that's the biggest fear of most of us as special needs moms. That is because nobody, just the thought of it, like nobody's going to take care of them like us. Nobody's going to have the compassion, the empathy, the sympathy, the concern, the know. Like, even like right now, like Jermaine is so in tune with me, right? He was down here in my office earlier because his trampoline's down, but he's really never down here. But he can tell when I'm getting ready to do something. Like, he knew my energy. He's like, and I'm just like, he's so in tune with me that my biggest fear is that what would he do? How is he gonna feel? Not even, I know somebody gonna take care of him. I know that. I know he has his father. I have kids too. I have family. But what about him when he, if that void is there for him, what does that look
Mhm.
like for him? And that's what chokes me up. That if I, because he already is like at this stage right now, for some reason, he's very anxious about me going anywhere. Like, he's very anxious, and he always knows that I'm coming back. The only time he's not anxious is school because I think he knows that schedule of 11:45, she gonna be here. But when I leave this, he's so anxious, and I'm just like, if anything ever happened to me, like, how would they explain that to him? How
Mhm.
would they comfort him? And that was one thing too that was very hard for me, Pat, as an autism mom. And I'm sure, like most autism moms, feel this way. One of my struggles was the hardest thing in the world for me was not being able to comfort my child,
Mm.
like to calm him when he's going doing like, my other children. I'm like, okay, calm down. What's the matter? Sit. Not being able to comfort your own child is a crazy feeling. And I talked about this before when we had our talk on when we talked about your book, of how getting the diagnosis of autism, I had to mourn the loss of the Jermaine that I thought I was getting.
Mm.
And it took me some time because of the why is this happening to me? Like the guilt of what did I do? I took my prenatal vitamins. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. There had to be something wrong that I did. So once I got past the guilt of what did I do and how did this happen, I had to really accept my child for who he was instead of comparing him. And they say comparison is the thief of joy. Comparing him to what atypical children or normal children look like, and to be able to look at him and see him for who he is, how he communicates, how he operates, and not keep holding on to, I thought I was getting this normal child who's going to play football or
Mhm.
basketball, or he was going to be on a debate team. And, I had to really let go of the thought of what a child is supposed to be and embrace the blessing that God gave to me. And then I was able to love on him the way he deserves to be loved on. And I know there's a lot of autism moms and
Mm.
dads who need to go through that mourning process and they don't even know, because they're still holding on to the child that they thought that they were supposed to get, the child that they thought they were entitled to. No. And I feel so strongly that God chose me. I didn't
Amen.
choose this, but God chose us for
Yes,
a very specific, special reason. And one of those reasons for us right now, Pat, is the Special Needs Mom Show. We
absolutely.
didn't know that we were going to do this when we came together. We were having a conversation about your book, and you said, "Oh, you should do a podcast about that." And I said, "Okay, if you do it with me." And here
She
we are.
did. She did. She did.
And here we are. And just from me posting and sharing that we're doing this, the number of DMs and inboxes and phone calls that I have received to say, goodness gracious, thank goodness, the special needs moms that I see commenting underneath. I'm just
Mhm.
like, we're not
Yeah.
alone. Just we do a lot of screaming in our own head. That's what I call it. I'm constantly screaming in my own head because I can't scream out loud sometimes. Saw this woman on TikTok, I believe it was, and she was screaming, like really screaming on TikTok, like, my son, I think she said he was 11, and I'm still wiping his ass, and people were judging and like, oh, why are you on social media? You don't know unless you know. My son
Unless
was
you know.
9 when he was potty trained, and I still wipe him now because he doesn't know how to wipe himself correct. So I still wipe him, but you don't know the level of frustration. Like the last 2 months have been extremely hard for me. And I haven't experienced an extremely hard season with Jermaine. It's been like really smooth sailing, but now these behaviors have come. So it has caused this level of anxiety in me that I have to forgive myself for judging people who say they have anxiety now. Because now
Mhm.
I know, like, yo, like when I go pick him up from school some days, I'm so anxious because I don't know what kind of day he had. So I'm like, is he gonna come out swinging or is he gonna come out smiling? I use a lot of essential oils now. So I'm in the car and I'm just like, Lord, please just let it be a good day because I don't want to deal with it. It's scary because you don't know the level that it can go to. And I sent you a couple of text messages where the woman was saying, spending time with my son on my birthday, he broke the dresser. and I
Yes.
don't know what to do anymore. That was a big, these boys are big. And I went to Jermaine's field day today and I saw all of those special needs kids. I just, I just looked and my heart for every parent. I just saw them all. Like, whenever I see them all together, it's so overwhelming for me. I'm sorry. When I see
Mhm.
just just seeing them today, like some of them just it's just a lot. And I know that each and one of every one of those parents are at their wits' end. I know that every day you worry, like every day, like every single day I worry. I don't have a day. I don't have a day. I don't know how you feel, but I don't have a day that Jermaine is not on my mind. Like, not one waking moment is he not on my mind. And it's a lot mentally.
It's definitely a lot mentally, and I would say I was doing pretty good for those who do know me. I had gotten better. I started easing up and not being that overbearing mom because I was like, yeah, he's doing good, he's doing good. And then, the last situation where I didn't even get to the part that after we got over the 7 surgeries in 2022, in January
Seven
23,
surgeries. Seven.
just seven, all gastrostomy, and but we finally, like I said, we finally got comfortable with our new life with our ostomy. We actually had to name it because I said if we're going to be taking care of it, he's part of the family. We call it he's part of the family now, so we actually named it. Um, he ends up having a 5-minute seizure out of nowhere, just outright, just tonic-clonic seizure. Rushed over to St. Barnabas, was there for a couple of days, and I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next? And it got to the point that I finally was like, I'm over it. Like, it's just gonna be like I can't fight this anymore. I can't. Do you ever like cry and you just can't cry anymore?
Girl. Yes. Yeah. This is Jermaine had a seizure in school out of the blue. And when I saw my baby, they were all calm because this is what they do at the school. But when I saw my baby, they were like, "Do you want to?" They called me. They said, "Do you want to come get him?" And I was like, "I'm on my way. I'm 10 minutes away. I'm driving like crazy." And they're like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, "What do they mean? Do I want to come get him?" But this is what they do. And when I saw my baby in that wheelchair, I was like, "Call a freaking ambulance now!" And I mean, when we got to the hospital, they didn't do nothing except monitor him, make sure, because there's nothing they can do
Right.
basically. And when I saw him,
I'm telling you, it gets to the point that someday, like I said, you start to feel defeated. Like I was just like,
yes,
okay, we finally got comfortable, like I said, with our new lifestyle. And then that happened. And then, and then last year, another shunt revision.
mm,
So I'm like, okay, all right.
I just don't know how my situation is like really is totally different than yours, but I know that we have people who are in your situation. I know we have people who will be
Absolutely.
watching that their children have Down syndrome. We have people who are going to watch. Disability is a disability. And again, we talked about which one would you want? And it's none of them. We don't want none of them.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
again, God chose us for a reason. And we are here to support each other. And our scripture is a three-strand cord, is not easily broken. I'm the one strand, Pat's the other strand, and y'all are the other strand. So
Yeah,
we are going to make it through this together. We are
absolutely.
going to bring in some amazing autism moms. We are going to bring in some specialists. We are going to bring in some resources. We are going to tell some stories. We are going to laugh. We are going to cry. But more than anything, we're going to make it through this together. And we are
Absolutely.
not going to stop because we are unstoppable. And I
Yeah.
always say this, all superheroes don't
Mhm.
wear capes
Yeah.
because every woman that I know, and we will never leave out the fathers, the siblings, the caregivers, the nurses who come into our lives and assist us. We will never leave those people out. But mothers, like every woman that I know that is a special needs mom, feels lost, left out, unheard, and alone. And we want you to know
That
that
we
you
are.
got a friend in me, and you
Yeah,
got a friend in my sister here, and God
absolutely.
brought us together at a time in both of our lives where we say yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we are, as believers, we are supposed to carry each other's burdens. And through this podcast, the goal is to encourage our sisters, our family members, again, caregivers, and all of those with individuals with special needs. That is our goal: is to encourage each other and support each other, and just be there for one another. We're hoping that the specialists that we have on, just listening to the transparent testimonies and stories of individuals, that it just encourages and lets everyone know that you're not alone. You're just not alone.
You're not. And one thing we also want to encourage our special needs moms to do is ask for help.
Mm,
Reach out. Like, listen, Pat asks me every time she texts me or talks to me, "Are you okay? How are you doing?" So we want to ask you, how are you doing? And
yes.
as we go on this journey, if you need help, you can DM us. If we can give you a resource, if we can send you in the right direction, just if we could just pray for you. Just
Yes.
if you are in a state of mind where you just can't take no more, reach out to somebody. Because I'm telling you, the last 2 months for me has been basic, almost unbearable. And I mean, your book, you just don't know.
Thank
That
you.
book just brought me back from the brink of a nervous breakdown. Because I thought in my mind, like, I just can't do this no more. Like, I don't want this life anymore. And I don't
Mm,
mean I want to take mine. I
right.
just didn't want this one at that moment. But now we have each other. And God is so
Yes.
strategic, and He is an on time God. And my family and friends didn't know, and they don't know. They're going to be hearing this for the first time. They probably going to call and curse me out. But,
Yes.
but they don't understand
Mhm.
from the perspective of someone who's in my situation of what this looks like, because you will never know. And those of you who judge us when you see our children in the
Mhm.
supermarket, and I'm not judging you because I used to be you, because I used to look at kids and be like, I'll beat that kid until it was
Mm,
me in the supermarket. And now I understand there could be something wrong.
mm.
That mother that is
Wow.
driving, rushing, that person that looks down, that's not dressed up, who looks dusty. You just don't know. Sometimes I go out the house in the morning. I know
You
them
don't know
people.
what's going
I know
on.
them people at his school be like, "This lady look," because they've never seen me. In the morning, I don't know. In the morning, I'm just nervous because I don't know if he's gonna have a behavior, because sometimes he don't want to get up, and I'm just like, some mornings, like I'll take my shower at night because sometimes he don't want me to take a shower in the morning, which can cause a whole big ruckus where he wants
Okay.
to attack. So in the morning, my clothes are down by the door, so I put his clothes on, get him out, sit him in the car. I run back inside to get dressed because he likes me in my home sweats. He know my home sweat. Like, she in a home sweat, she ain't going nowhere.
There
If
you
I
go.
come down dressed, so I put him in the car and I come in here like Bat Superman and put on my gym clothes. I'm in here in my shoes, and then I run out and he's looking at me because he's been sitting in the car. Because if I don't get him in the car when he wants to get in the car, I may not get him in the car.
Okay. All right.
So it's a whole. I
Well,
mean, we have PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, because every day we are walking through a minefield trying to navigate the physical, the emotional, and the mental of our children. So it's like we don't want to,
yes.
so it's like walking
And I
around.
definitely will tell you that I encourage therapy. I remember when, and again, you're talking from a behavioral perspective, and I'm talking from more of a medical perspective. But when I brought Brandon home from the hospital, I was lost. I was lost. I mean, because so I have my husband and I have my daughter, but I try to be as strong as possible because I fear if I break down, they're gonna fall apart. Because once they see me fall apart, then they know it's bad, right? So I'm always like, I don't want them to think it's bad. We got this. We're going to be okay. We got this. But it was to the point that I couldn't even touch my son.
Mm.
He was cutting everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
So Lenny would cover one area of the body. I would do the ostomy because I was supposedly trained on it, but I wasn't good at it.
Mm.
When we first got him home, I was not good at it.
Mm.
But
Mm.
and I had to go to therapy because whenever we would have to take him to a doctor's appointment, to the hospital for something, I would panic. Like
Yep.
they were going to keep my baby, and I was just, it was so hard.
That's where I am. I'm in panic mode like all the time.
So,
Your
so
legs
I
numb.
know when, again, the PTSD is different, but it was pretty bad for a couple of doctor visits. And, I'm grateful for the family support that was there when I would have to take him, because they would kind of, like we would joke a little bit, talk a little bit. So it was somewhat of a distraction from what I had to deal with.
And you're just trying to breathe.
Breathe. I mean, so one time, myself and his nurse, we gave him some Gatorade and some chicken soup. So we're like, okay. And we look, and it didn't look so, it was pretty scary. So we thought he was bleeding out or something in his bag. So I'm like, oh, lady, we got to rush him to the hospital. We got to go to the hospital. But when I was anxious to get him there because I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
When I got there, I said, I can't go inside. I can't go. Like, Lenny's like, what's wrong? I was like, I cannot go inside. You have to, like, I started just freaking out outside the emergency room. I could not take him in. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stand there. I was out of it. Totally out of it. But I knew I had to, I felt I had to get him there. It ended up just being the Gatorade. But I like literally went into a panic because I didn't know. Again, being there, I was so used to other medical things that having the ostomy, it was all new to me. So I didn't know what to expect, what I was going to see. I didn't know it was so.
And that's the behaviors. That's the new behaviors that come along. And this is not a kid that I'm dealing with. This is a 16-year-old young man. And this is not the same animal as a 6-year-old or 3-year-old or a 10. This is a 16-year-old young man that is strong. So the anxiety and the panic that I'm having is like, because I don't want to ever have to call the police, or I don't want it to ever go to where I have to defend myself and I have to hurt him.
Right.
So it's like, it's just so much mental anxiety. It's just so hard, but we got each other.
Right. And being able to communicate and be transparent and say, this is what I'm feeling today. I need prayer. I need you to just talk me down or talk me through. Yes. I just thank you, Trey, for just being in my life and being in my family's life. I really do. You have no idea. I definitely appreciate you. I love you, girl.
I love you too. And I just thank you for saying yes. And I thank you for your book. And I thank you for just being concerned about me. And we just met. And I thank you. And I feel like I've known you for a lifetime. And I feel like God sent you. Again, I always say that I'm the light at the end of somebody's tunnel. And I'm going through, and everything I've been through is to be the light at the end of somebody's tunnel. And I just thank God that He sent my light through you at the end of my tunnel, because it was very dark and very bleak. And I feel so much better now that we have this space to share, to talk, and to bring other moms on, and to bring other people on, to be able to release and to be able to begin to heal and to be able to let go of the fear. So this is why we're here, and we look forward to spending time with you each week. We asked, maybe not each week. We haven't even decided on.
No judgment, no judgment, safe space. We must make that known. No judgment, safe space.
Safe space, yes. Safe space to share your fears, your anger. Like, some of us don't want to do this anymore on certain days. We would never abandon our child, but there are moments when we just don't want to do this anymore. And that's okay to say that.
Absolutely.
Now, if you said it to somebody else who doesn't understand this walk, they probably would judge you, because I've seen posts where people have unalived their children
Mm.
and people have judged them.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not judging that woman, because nobody don't know what the hell this looks like on the
Yeah.
inside. And each child is different. So you don't know. And the mothers are getting younger and younger. So
Mm.
the patience, so we have to get this under control, because there's going to be more of those situations if we don't. Like, we're grown, we're older, so we're more patient. We these young women,
Hmm.
they
But it's
haven't.
older women out there too. Grandma's raising them too.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not easy because with the new world and everything that's going on, it's hard for them to navigate. So, yeah.
Yes, it is. So we are here for y'all. We thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you would like to follow us on social media, I am at Trey Kearney on Instagram, and Pat is.
At Sparrow's Reflections on Instagram.
So you can follow, friend, and like us. Please subscribe to the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. Hit that share button if you know a special needs mom or family, or if you care for someone who has special needs. This show is for you. Hit the share, hit that bell for notifications for when our new episodes come up. We love y'all, and remember, a three-strand cord is not easily broken. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And more than anything, just remember, God loves you. So
Yes,
peace
and
and
we love you,
blessings. Yes, peace and blessings. My name's Trey Kearney, and this is my co-host.
Pat Ward.
And we thank you for tuning into Special Needs Moms. See you next time.
Yes.
Mhm.